Hi traders, this is Chris from Elite Currency with a video on wave analysis of the pound, euro dollar, and dollar yen. First of all though, be aware that trading for exchange and global financial markets is considered high risk, may not be suitable for everyone. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. And by continuing watching this video, you agree with this disclaimer, plus you're aware of the risk involved when trading. Before we start looking at the wave analysis, just wanted to let you know that wave analysis is done at Admiral Markets every day. Just take a look at analytics and you'll find that. And if you're interested in opening an account with Admiral Markets, you can do so through this link. You'll get our course for free, our trend course, plus you'll get credit for your volume. And of course, Admiral Markets, award-winning broker, plus great technology and customer service. First on the list is the euro dollar 4-hour chart. And I marked this wave basically ending an X here. So at the support, expecting an end of that correction. And indeed, price bounced to the upside here, creating kind of a mini impulse, in fact. And that just seemed like a part of a bigger correction up to the resistance top up in here at about 110. So from that point of view, I still think that there's a chance that price could also break above that actually and rise to higher targets here. And we're just looking at a correction basically at these dark brown kind of letters for a larger euro dollar sideways move. Ultimately on a daily and weekly chart, price of course is just going sideways as this is already indicating, and price is just in a correction, and prior to that we had a strong downside. So of course eventually that downside might continue, but for the moment price is just correcting, and within those corrections you can see that price is making triangles and using support and resistance as a clear level of bouncing. All right, and that's been happening already for almost 2 months now in this very tight range of a couple of 100 pips, probably 200 pips only, with some small little breaks in here. So yeah, I'm not surprised that price bounced here, and you can see that on the hourly chart as well, right here, that price made the break of this resistance. I labeled that an A because that looked like an end of a correction. This seemed to be a correction right here. And when price broke above the resistance right in here and didn't break this bottom, I consider that the end of the correction to the downside and was expecting a new structure to the upside. Breaks like that, often give an indication of new formations, especially if you take the larger picture into account, like the 4-hour chart. That seemed very likely. So I labeled it an A and was already expecting the pullback yet again. And why? Because basically, when price is about halfway this triangle, right? You're going to get typically a 3-wave move correction, an A, B, C, and the A is not going to last forever. There's a high chance that there's going to be a pullback before you continue. So that's why I already expected the A, B, C, and indeed price stopping at the 61.8 fib, and then continuing higher. So all of this quite logical, and waves are, from that point of view, not rocket science. Yes, it's not easy. I'm not going to say that it's a very easy exercise, especially start out. But if you look at impulse and correction, and start with that, and then slowly add some wave counts to it, 1 or 2, then expand as you go and as you get more experience and more confidence, it's a doable task if you just take it step by step. Problem is that traders want to do everything in one shot. They, read a couple of sentences and try to make a wave analysis, and they get it wrong or it doesn't work out, and they throw it away. Well, you're never going to get that experience. It has to be a step by step. And the first thing you want to do before labeling everything is just looking at the impulse and correction, and you'll get the hang of it sooner or later like that, and you can build that experience. So ABC, and expected that, got the bounce there, and now actually price is breaking above resistance. So tomorrow I think when I make the analysis for Admiral Markets, it's probably going to be a wave C, indeed, confirmation, and price is going to be, I'm not exactly sure how far it's going to go intraday. It'll reach 109.10 and might make one more dash up to 109.20 or 109.40, right? Which would bring it around here, I would say, that or very max here, but I'm not sure if it can get that high. So what we'll probably see tomorrow's wave analysis is a move like that. And honestly, I'm not 100% sure if that completes the C as yet. It really depends on how price moves down from here. Because if it moves, because we got the impulse here as well, right? If it moves quickly to the downside, that could mean the end of wave C and we're going to make another pattern to the downside. But if price actually does something different, if it breaks here, but it starts to make a triangle like this, or it starts to make a bull flag like that, then maybe that wave C is not finished. What could happen is that we could extension from wave C. We could have a wave 1, 2. This could be a 3, right? And we're going to get a 4 and a 5 within that C. So that all depends a bit on how price is going to move, how impulsively it's going to go to the upside, and how does that retracement look like, to the downside. Obviously, we are getting into a resistance zone here, so how price is going to react to that level is important to figure out if that C is finished or it's still going to expand later this week. Now, for the pound USD 4-hour chart, we had a great downtrend channel, of course, and was labeling it already, obviously an impulse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we got an extension of these 5s. And we got that with green here and blue here, as you can see. Great acceleration, just kept on going, pushing and pushing, and basically every time price made a pullback, right, it was a correction, either a wave 2 or a 4, and it just carried on with that momentum and kept on pushing and kept on showing bearish wave counts and continuations until we got this move. And that's when I said, well, this is looking like a bigger correction. Just looking at the structure of this impulse, this seems to be one of the clues for wave analysis that we can say this is probably just part of a bigger correction to the upside, part of a larger correction of the downtrend. Obviously, the downtrend is strong, and if you look at that, I think there's a very chance that this is just part of a bigger downside still. This is probably a wave 4, and I would expect the wave 5 still to continue pushing this pound USD downwards, but later on. Waves 4 can tend to be on the larger side, and the price could reach the 38.2 fib, the 23.6 fib. So this could take a while. This could be a pretty lengthy correction. Now, if it doesn't turn out to be that lengthy, right, because price already made 3-wave correction, it did so here, that's 1, it did so here, that's 2, and it's doing again. If it's not going to correct a long time, it's going to break below this support and make this breakout trade to the downside. And if it respects that support, it might hook back to it, or it might break above this top and continue towards these fib levels, which in turn will also be resistance spots, right? All right, so that's basically the bouncing spots when looking at this. And obviously, the trend is great, and you got a lot of corrective patterns. But when you see divergence triple divergence on hourly chart, when you see this impulse, and when you see a corrective move down, it is looking more like a corrective pattern. You can see here ABC, ABC, and I'm looking to expect an ABC again, right? For the moment, price finished this A, but we're in a B as we speak. I would expect these fibs to be respected and move up. Well, let's see if that holds true, because we do have an FOMC event, but that's what I'm expecting. It was true for this ABC and this ABC and the A so far. So that's the pound USD. A lot of ABCs and a corrective, basically, formation of the downtrend. The dollar yen has been moving down a lot as well, but it had a bounce off of daily support. And this is when you want to use support and resistance levels and divergence and other patterns and impulses to understand at what spot could the market structure change. At this moment, there was obviously a good downtrend going on, and I was marking it an ABC. And how far can a structure like this push? How long can it continue? When do you get the change or the breakout into the opposite direction, and you get a different wave count? You're going to not get the ABC. The ABC will be completed, and when will you move into a new kind of formation? Often enough, it's going to be at support or resistance. You're going to get multiple clues regarding divergence and patterns. And same happened here with the dollar yen. You get close to daily support, well, that could be a good reason the price is going to bounce and go to the opposite side. So wave analysis is just a lot about patterns, chart patterns like head and shoulders and bear flags, and continuation patterns like triangles especially, and also understanding at what spot could the market continue, and at what spot is there support or resistance that might stop it. It's all about this balance and understanding, which is more likely. And it's can seem very complicated, but ultimately, once you get the hang of it, there are there are a couple of choices that the currency can make, and you just put the lines that you think are important, and then let the market kind of decide whether analysis that you have is playing out, or if it's doing something else. So it's a lot about impulse and correction, and becomes easier when you understand that. So for the moment, price broke out, bounced off this bottom, broke to the upside. Seems like what I thought personally was that it's making extended correction. So I put this as a WXY because it's expanding the correction, I think, to the upside. And if you look at the hourly chart, you'll be able to see that a bit better right in here. And you can see that this was a corrective, pretty strong corrective pattern to the upside. And we're seeing a triangle. So that means upside impulse relatively, correction to the downside. So I was thinking that there's a good chance that price could bounce off this bottom or break to the upside and expand that correction. And actually, as we speak, in the meantime, price is boxing out of that just slightly pushing above this red line. So it's still on the early side. If I look at the 4-hour chart, then it's maybe right at that red line, in fact. So not a confirmed breakout, but it's challenging. Price is right here. So we're going to see if price is going to manage to break above this red line and make a bigger expansion to the upside, or will the news event do something funky with it and just like change the outlook here and send it back to lower. So that's something we'll find out in tomorrow's wave analysis. And you can keep up to date with the wave analysis by going to Admiral Markets and clicking on analytics and clicking on wave analysis, and you'll see every day in the morning around 7 a.m. Central European time, around 6 a.m. London time, or maybe even before that, you'll see the new daily wave analysis being presented. So thanks again, wish you good trading and great week. Cheers.